I'm speaking to Wouter van Gelderen, Senior Director of Finance Transformation at the Hackett Group. Wouter, how have you achieved your findings on performance?
I think the crucial element is that we do two types of research. First of all, we have so much findings out of our benchmarking activity. As we benchmark the top of the world companies, we do measurements from those benchmarks, and out of those benchmarks we can do basically correlations to find what works and what doesn't work and how WorldClass looks like. Second of all, we go using that data into specific elements of research, such as the book of numbers regarding shared services, where we target specific topics and see, well, actually what makes them work and what do good companies do, and what do companies do that actually works.
Wouter, what do you think the key trends are in benchmarking going forwards?
Of course, it's obvious that there still is a continuous attention for efficiency. Really, efficiency is going to remain very important. However, what we see currently is, well, efficiency can also be achieved by labor arbitrage, doing things cheaper. But if you want to be sustainable in the long run, it is those effectiveness indicators that are driving it as well. Effectiveness indicators meaning quality, meaning assuring delivery, adding value, but also having a good control environment. I think in order to make that sustainable as well, there's an element of governance. Making sure that the governance of any shared service environment is not just focused on the board, on the bottom line, making sure that you actually deliver good services to your clients.
What does that mean to achieving world-class performance?
I think that the attention in the first years has really been about achieving fast and quick cost savings. Currently we see the long-run maturity is all about getting good processes in place, getting good end-to-end processes in place. And actually that means that the game has become more difficult. Building a good running shared service center is not just quick and dirty cost cutting. It is actually building a portfolio of small projects that have to deal with anything to ensure consistent good quality. Some of those activities are about cost saving, are about reducing cycle time, things like workflow, things like automation, but also things like moving work to achieve wage arbitrage differences. But what's also important is that there are value-added elements to the program. Controls don't pay off by themselves. They are a necessary requirement. Management information is usually a very expensive matter, but if you wrap it up in a good transformational program that both achieves efficiency saving, but doesn't use the efficiency savings by themselves, but leverage that to actually pay for the quality improvements that by its nature might not save money in themselves, might actually cost some money to run.
Wouter, what are the required capabilities for management to achieve this?
I think that the game is changing. It used to be that if you were a good manager and you had simple transactional process, having good people skills, running business as usual was sufficient to be good at running a shared service environment. Nowadays, I think it's really about managing a much more complexer mix. The end-to-end processes become more important, which means you need the negotiation capability to reach out into the business. The multi-dimensional, multicultural, multi-country element, globalization, is really pushing people to be able to deal more with cultural barriers. But but definitely not least, is that the talent management aspects of actually negotiating, partially with outsourcing companies, but also in terms of negotiating with the internal company. Making sure that you can manage that portfolio of interests to get that transformational plan working is one of the key and driven elements of making success for these people.
Is outsourcing the central element for world-class performance?
If only life were that simple. I'm afraid it's not. Outsourcing is definitely one of the elements. It's growing, we can see it growing, and it's becoming, especially in finance, it's slowly becoming a mature market. However, it's still primarily driven around labor cost savings and not enough about transformational capabilities. I think transformational capabilities is something that any outsourcer would like to provide, but transforming an organization can be done much better if you're on the inside. Second of all, the skill set of managing an outsourced relationship is one of the most difficult things there is. There's no proof of concept of that yet. If you have the capabilities to leverage the talents of an outsourced organization, you're on it. But still, the jury is still out whether outsourcing is really the golden nugget to improvement.
Wouter, thanks very much for your time.